G'day guys, my name's Dave and welcome to another Guitar Zero to Hero song tutorial. And in this lesson, I'll be teaching you how to play Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd, which is one of the greatest acoustic songs of all time. In this lesson, I'll run through all the guitar parts of this song. So this is a complete lesson with the intro riff, all the chords and rhythm, and all three solos in the song as well. If you want to master your chords back to front, be sure to head over to guitarzerotohero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Or if you really want to improve on your guitar, then sign up to Guitar Zero to Hero Premium, which is my complete step-by-step guitar course. For the basics of this song, you'll just need your guitar in standard tuning and you won't need a capo. The guitar I'm playing here today is a Cole Clark Angel 2 in Californian Redwood with the Elixir strings. If you want to find out more, there's a link in the description below. Let's get to the lesson. Let's jump into the intro, which is a lot of fun to play. Now, the typical structure of how this intro works is that we'll play a chord, strum it for a little bit, and then there'll be a short phrase after it with individual notes. And that just kind of repeats throughout the whole intro. Now, to start this off, we have a short phrase and we'll just learn it by itself. So we'll need to get into a G position like this, but you don't need your index finger pushed down yet. Hit the 3rd fret of the 6th string, and then we're going to hit the open 5th string, but hammer on with your index finger onto the 2nd fret. Then the open 4th string, and then the 2nd fret of the 4th string. And all together. And that's our lead-in phrase for this whole intro riff. Let's get to our first chord, and with our index finger already here on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, we're in position. This is going to be our E minor 7, except we're only going to strum from the 4th string onwards. Now, to avoid hitting the 6th and 5th strings, what you can do is take your middle finger and just touch those strings. Don't push them down. Even if you accidentally hit those strings, they'll just be muted. But you should focus on the top 4 strings anyway, like that. With this E minor 7, we're going to strum it with a down, down, up, down. And then we have a 3-note phrase after it, which goes open 3rd string with an up pluck, then our 4th string with our index finger still down, and then lift our index finger and hit the open 4th string. So the chord and the phrase together. And together with the lead-in phrase. Our next chord is a G chord. So we go to a G chord now, and we're going to strum this with a down, down, up, up. Right after that up strum, we're going to go right into another phrase, which is identical to our lead-in phrase. So our G chord with the phrase after it. And then the rest of this first line of tab is just that E minor 7 and that G repeated again. So in total, our first line of tab will sound like this. Now that final note of that phrase takes us to the second line of tab. Now we're going to start with that E minor 7 chord again, but our strumming pattern is a bit shorter. It's down, down, up, up. And then right after that, we play our next phrase, which is the 2nd fret of the 4th string, open 4th string, your next finger comes on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and then you open 5th string. So 4 notes there. And the E minor 7 with the phrase. Our next chord shape now is an A7 sus4, so your index finger comes onto the 2nd fret of the 4th string. We can now strum from the 5th string onwards. So we're not meant to hit the 6th string, and to mute that, you can just lightly put your thumb over the top to touch that 6th string. And then even if you accidentally hit that 6th string, it will still sound okay. We're going to strum this A7 sus4 with a down, down, up, down. And then the phrase after it is the open 5th string, and you're going to hammer on with your index finger to the 2nd fret, open 4th string, and then 2nd fret of the 4th string. And together with the chord. Our next section is just this E minor 7 chord and 4-note run that we had at the start of the second line of tab. So and then after that, we're getting into our A7 sus4 position again, and we're going to strum this with a down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So the second line of tab in total. For our final line of tab, we just go back to a G chord, and we're going to strum this with a down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up. For the first bar, and then the second bar, down, 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 up. Right after that up strum, we're going to play that lead-in riff again, which takes us back to the start of this whole riff in one full circle. And then we just repeat that whole intro again at the start of the song. Now note that the strumming patterns I'm teaching you here might differ slightly from the actual recording, and that's because I'm just trying to show you something structured that's easy to learn. The actual recording is played in quite a freestyle manner. David Gilmour isn't thinking about what strumming pattern he's playing. He's kind of just feeling it as it goes. So what I'm teaching you isn't note for note of what the recording is, but this is the best way for you to understand the structure, and then you can add your own flavor and flair to it once you get it. Now, the second time that you play this intro riff, that final bar we do not play, so that's completely cut out. So altogether, this is what the intro sounds like. And this intro riff is actually used in the bridge and also the outro as well. Next, we move on to the verse, which is really, really simple. There's just 2 lines of chords here and a really simple strumming pattern. I'll start with the strumming pattern. We're just going to use down, 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 up. And you're going to play that twice for each chord that you see up here in the annotations. For the verse, we'll start with the C chord. For for 2 strumming patterns. Then we go to a D/F sharp. You can play this in 2 ways. You can play the D and then reach your thumb over the top to hit the 2nd fret of the 6th string. Or you can play it like this. I prefer to play it like this. Then we have an A minor and a G. That's it for the first line of chords. The second line of chords is D/F sharp, C, A minor, and back to G. Now again, we're playing each chord for 2 strumming patterns, so the verse is as simple as this. And that's everything you need to learn for the rhythm. The verse is super simple. The only tricky part really is that intro, but that's used in the bridge and the outro. So once you've learnt that, then that's it for the song. All right, let's jump into the guitar solos. Let's start with the intro guitar solo, which is iconic and a lot of fun to play. We're gonna start with our middle finger, 2nd fret of the 3rd string. We're gonna slide that up to the 4th. And then with our index finger, 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And then with your ring finger, 5th fret of the 2nd string, back to the 4th of the 3rd, and back to the 3rd fret of the 2nd. Like that. We're gonna reposition our fingers. Now ring finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. You're gonna hit that, pull off to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and then pull that off again. It's a double pull off. So pull off to the 2nd and pull off to the open string. Now the trick with pull offs is to pull down in that direction. So apply pressure into the fretboard, but then also push it down. So notice how I'm just flicking my finger this way whilst applying pressure into the fretboard. And then to end that little lick, you're gonna hit the open 4th string. And in total for the first bar, for our next lick, you'll just take your middle finger, hit the 1st fret of the 5th string, slide it up to the 2nd, and then hit the open 4th string twice. For our next phrase, you'll start with our index finger. We'll bar it across the 3rd fret of the 1st and 2nd strings. You're going to do double stops here, so we're going to pluck 2 strings at the same time. So 1st and 2nd strings, but as we hit it, we'll slide up to the 5th fret. Like that. So hit it and then slide up. We'll go back down to the 3rd fret, hit that double stop. Then we'll rearrange our position. So we'll get into basically a D chord shape, but we only need to put our index and ring finger down. We're going to hit the 3rd and 2nd strings, and we're going to immediately slide it up 2 frets to 4th and 5th. We're going to pluck these 2 strings again, but then you'll slide in the opposite direction, back down. So it sounds like this. Then lift your fingers, hit the open 3rd and 2nd strings together. Put your fingers back down, and we're gonna slide back up 2 frets. And then we reposition our fingers back to 3rd and 2nd, pluck them, and pull off both those strings. Like that. So far. And then we'll end by getting our index and middle finger and putting them sort of on the 2nd and 3rd frets like this. And we'll slide up to the 5th and 4th. Like that. And we'll hold that out for the next bar. And in total for this phrase. For our second liner tab, we'll start with the same notes that we did at the start of the solo. So slide up and then 3rd fret of the 2nd string. But then we'll quickly go back to the 4th fret of the 3rd and then 5th fret of the 2nd string. And then for our next phrase, we're going to pre-bend the 5th fret of the 2nd string, release it, 3rd fret of the 2nd, 4th fret of the 3rd, and back to the 3rd fret of the 2nd, and end this phrase on the 2nd fret of the 3rd. Like that. And then for our next phrase, we're going to bend the 4th fret of the 3rd string up slightly. Now this is a little tricky to do on acoustic guitars because the strings are quite tough, but even a slight bend sounds close enough. Like that. 3rd fret of the 2nd, 5th fret of the 2nd, do another bend on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. And it's best to do the bend with your ring finger because then you can put your middle finger down on the string behind it and use that to help push the string up. And then we end that with the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. So that run. And so far for the 2nd line of tab. For our next bar, we'll start with the same lick that we had at the start of this line of tab. Then we're going to bend this 5th fret up, hit it again and release it. 3rd fret of the 2nd, back to the 5th fret, and then end on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. And in total for that, our last section is just the 4th fret of the 3rd string. We'll bend that up and release, and then hit the 2nd fret to end this solo. And in total, this is what the intro solo sounds like. Alright, let's move to solo number 2, which is in the bridge of this song. We'll start with our ring finger, 10th fret of the 2nd string. We're going to slide this up to the 12th, hit it again, and then we're going to do that slide again and hit the 12th fret again. So in total. Then we're going to do that slide another time, 10th fret of the 1st string, hit the 12th fret of the 2nd, and then slide down. Like that. And in total for the first bar. For our next bar, we'll slide 10th fret of the 1st string up to the 12th, and then hit the 10th fret. And then to end this, we'll slide up to the 12th fret of the 2nd string and pluck it another 2 times and slide out of it. For the 3rd bar, we'll slide back up to the 12th fret of the 2nd string, and then 10th fret of the 1st string, hit the 12th fret of the 2nd string again, but we'll slide down to the 11th and back up to the 12th and pluck it again. And the 3rd bar. For our final phrase, we'll hit that 12th fret again, slide it down to the 7th fret, then pluck the 7th fret again, middle finger, 7th fret of the 3rd string, index finger, 7th fret of the 4th string, and slide up to the 9th. And in total for the first line of tab. For our second line of tab, we'll start with our slide 10th to 12th on the 2nd string and hit the 10th of the 1st. Then we'll do a quick slide to the 12th again and hit the 10th of the 1st string. So then ring finger, 15th fret of the 2nd string, hit that and slide down You can slide down to any arbitrary point, but then we're going to hit the 12th fret of the 3rd string. Like that. We'll hit the 12th fret of the 2nd string, slide up to the 14th, 12th fret of the 1st string, and then back to the 14th fret of the 12th and slide down. So far. Then for our next short phrase, we're going to slide from the 12th to the 14th and then pluck that 3 times. And we can slide out of that. For our 3rd bar, we'll start off the same as we did in the 1st bar with that slide and then the 10th fret. And then you'll hit the 12th fret, slide it down. Then on the 3rd string, 12th fret, we'll slide up to the 14th, 12th fret of the 2nd, and do that slide again. Like that. Then we'll slide from the 12th to the 14th on the 2nd string. Like that. Hit the 14th fret and slide down to the 10th. Like that. Then to end this solo, we're going to hit that 10th fret and 8th fret of the 1st and 2nd strings like this and slide it up to 10th and 12th. Like that. And in total for solo 2. Finally, we get to the outro solo, and this is a lot of fun to play too. So we're going to start with that index finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Make sure your middle finger is ready for the 4th fret of the 3rd. Pluck 2nd, 3rd, 2nd string, and then with your ring finger, 5th fret of the 2nd string. And then we have a little pause there. Then we hit the 4th fret of the 3rd string, and then there's a 5-note run here. So 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, 2nd string, and then end on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. Like that. For our 2nd bar, we'll slide our ring finger up to the 12th fret of the 2nd string, then 10th, then 8th fret with our middle finger, hit that twice, 7th fret of the 3rd string, 9th fret of the 3rd with our ring, pluck that and slide up to the 12th. And in total. Then for the 3rd bar, we go back down to here, 3rd fret of the 2nd string, hit that, open, back to 3rd, and 5th fret. Like that. For our 4th bar, this is a pretty cool lick. So index finger on the 8th fret of the 2nd string, middle finger on the 9th fret of the 3rd, hit the 2nd, 3rd, 2nd string, then 10th fret of the 2nd, 8th fret of the 2nd, hit the 10th fret and slide up to the 12th, 10th fret of the 1st, then with your ring finger, hit the 12th fret of the 1st string, slide it down to the 10th, then with your middle finger, hit the 10th fret of the 2nd string and slide it back up to the 12th. Like that. And the whole lick. Then we get to our 2nd line of tab. We're going to start by sliding our middle finger up to the 12th fret of the 2nd string. Pluck it again. Then hit the 10th fret, slide it down to the 8th. Ring finger on the 9th fret of the 3rd string, 7th, and then our middle finger comes back up to the 10th fret of the 2nd string, and we slide it up twice. And the riff in total. For For our next bar, we're going to now use our ring finger to slide up to the 12th fret of the second string, and then hit the 10th fret of the first string twice. We do that another 2 times. Then you're going to hit the 12th fret of the second string, slide it down to 10th, and then slide it up to the 14th fret. You only pluck that once though. So there's a slide down and a slide up. Then we hit the 12th fret of the first string twice. And so far. Then we go back to the 14th fret of the second string, hit that and slide down. Slide from 10th to 12th. Hit the 10th fret of the first string and do the same 2 frets up. So. And in total for the second line of tab. For our third line of tab, we're going to start with that slide from 10th to the 12th of the second string and 10th fret of the first. And then we're going to hit the 12th fret of the second string, slide out of it. And then we have 8th fret and 9th fret of the second and third strings. We're just going to alternate between the two, like that. And then for the final lick, it's alternating between the two. And then we end on the 10th fret of the second string. So the final line of tab. And in total, solo number 3 sounds like this. So now I'll be playing through the song in its entirety, and I'll have a vocal track on top for some context. A big thanks to my friend Eric for lending his vocals for this track. If you want to check out his YouTube channel, there's a link in the description below. Feel free to play this back as many times as you'd like to practice, play along to, and see how you go. Hope you've enjoyed this lesson. Be sure to head over to guitarzerotohero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook, or if you want to improve on your guitar, then sign up to Guitar Zero to Hero Premium, which is my complete step-by-step guitar course. It'd mean the world if you could hit that like button, hit subscribe, and click the little notification bell as well so that you don't miss out on my updates. Please leave your thoughts, comments, questions, and requests down below, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers.